Hi, Justin, Aaron. Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you.
First question is that I love the way you kicked off the series. How did you decide this was the best way to bring back the audiences to the characters while also showing what is this new show all about?
Yeah. We're fans of the original show, of course, and we wanted to feel like the original show. And so the first few minutes, we want it to feel like a big warm hug where you're just like, I know this,
Definitely.
I know this. And you can also see what time has passed. You know, you can see what everybody looks like, and you can see how their careers have developed a little bit. But really what it is on a dramatic level was trying to set them up as high as possible for a very, very long and hard fall. Because the fall is intense and it hurts us too as fans, and we just wanted to make sure that felt like it was being taken very seriously, because it was going to ripple out through the whole show. The grief from these acts of brutality that happen in the first 15 minutes that kind of say like, yes, the old show had all of these things about it. This is born again. There is something new happening here. And so, we wanted to make sure that we were going to be just like treating it with the gravitas and respect that it deserved, and not just making it a really cool 15 minutes, but or a shocking, shocking 15 minutes, but something that actually just ripples out through all 9 episodes.
Mission accomplished, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it's rough, right? Yeah.
It's rough. You guys as directors felt any pressure to make a fight sequence as a Warner?
Yes.
Or-
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pressure is the word.
Yeah.
It was without a doubt, we were going to be doing it. When we came on, we were going to be doing a fight scene, one-shot sequence. And the best one of all time is in season 3, the prison oneer, and the other best ones of all time are in seasons 1 and 2. And so, we have Phil Silvera, who worked on the original Netflix show, who was our action director, second unit director, and he put together this sequence. And we were talking to him about it, and our biggest thing was we wanted a really strict camera language that was predicting the future. For us, the camera is the eyes of God, that are watching. He's a Catholic superhero. And the camera knows that it's going to end up on that rooftop and all these things are going to happen. And so we use this phrase, it's on the train tracks of fate. And so that's why it's not messy and handheld. It doesn't get very close. It actually kind of keeps dispassionately wide and just moves at its own pace. And we realized is like that was our major addition to the amazing oeuvre of one-take fight scenes, is that we were giving it this much more omniscient point of view, this kind of like scary point of view, this dread-filled point of view, because in our minds, the camera knew what was going to happen, even though the characters fighting in front of us don't.
Well, thank you so much for that answer, man. That's amazing.
Throw a little more
know the language behind that scene.
I'll throw a little more spice into this. Just a funny little thing that we should say.
Yeah, please.
The magic ingredient that we realized in these long oneers, in the tradition of them, as we rewatch the old ones over and over, the magic ingredient is they get exhausted.
Yep.
On camera, it's the breath.
Yeah,
it's the human fatigue, the breath, and like one of our favorite moments in this pilot's oneer is just those guys just like they're both so exhausted they can't even fight for like a little while.
It was it was the first sneak preview that Phil sent us of the fight, because we talked to him about what we wanted it to be. He was working out the details and the choreography. And the first image he ever sent to us was of them both leaning against the wall exhausted, because he knew how passionate we were about that moment. It was great.
Talking about that, a common saying in the Marvel Comics world is that no hero has suffered as much as Peter Parker and Matt Murdock. We've seen Tom's Peter go through a lot with losses and sacrifices, but do you think Matt surpasses that level of suffering after this series?
I would personally, this is just my opinion.
Obviously.
This is my opinion. In my opinion, I think that Matt Murdock has always been the most. I mean, at least quite literally physically,
Yeah.
That man's been blooded up a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy doesn't heal, and he loses everything. Like, what doesn't he lose? You know? Yeah, that's it's rough. That said, you know, who can say?
Okay. Let me kick back a little bit, because the first season of Daredevil not only introduced the character origins and explored Matt's struggle with this Christian guilt over his restrained violence. The second season expanded the Daredevil universe and mythology, while the third fully focused on Matt's showdown with the Kingpin. Which do you think is the best of those three? And what did you take from each to shape the foundation of this new series?
I have a hard time choosing between the three, but here's why. Because the first season is so artistically bold from just a lighting composition standpoint that
Definitely.
And it's just so, and it's so unexpected at how sophisticated it is, and how its sophistication in dealing with very, very human struggles, and the lengths it goes to, for example, humanize William Fisk, just show him for so long as just a man falling in love. And then the second season, that Frank Castle run is just. It's just
that's my favorite moment. I think is the Frank Castle run.
His introduction, where it's just like he's terrifying. Those shots in the hospital, it's like watching an actually really scary slasher film when you meet him. And then by the time you understand his heart and mind, and he's giving that monologue in the graveyard at that gravestone, it is just so heartbreaking. And then season 3, you've got that's when the Poindexter backstory comes in, right? That the kid with the baseball, that's like, that stuff slugs you in the stomach.
Yeah.
He experiences so much suffering that he doesn't deserve. Yet he is an antagonist, and it's well done.
That season made us very a bit obsessive and protective over the Bullseye character. We just kind of like love talking about it. It's a great character.
Such a great character.
Daredevil's such a good show at taking what would so easily be called a bad guy and making just showing their cracks and their flaws and their trauma, and making it at least start to make sense. You know, everyone's a few bad days away from becoming Poindexter in a way, you know.
I had to wrap up, guys, but thank you so much for your time.
Awesome. Thank you,
man.